master shooting at these foolish rappers. Long as I'm the number one, I don't care who come after. When I came from Africa, they call me booty scratcher. Now they scream a nigga name when I say who's the master.
What's up, people? Welcome back to the BCMA podcast. That's the Black Clover Martial Arts podcast. It's your boy Lucky from Lucky's Muay Thai. This is episode number 73, a quick follow-up episode from last week when I gave you my predictions for UFC 290. And I kind of want to go over that and tell you what I got right, what I got wrong, and what was kind of in between. We can also talk about what's next because we know what happened in the ring after that Whitaker and Duplessis fight. My weekend was kind of hectic. I commentated. I refereed. I'll tell you all about it. And last but not least, have you heard? Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou. But first, if you like the show, tap the like, hit the subscribe button, tell a friend, pass it along. Drop a comment below to help us with the algorithm, to also help me get more subscribers. If you want to stop by the gym, you know the deal. www.LuckysMT.com. Hit us up. You can go on the website and you can actually book a trial class right there. You can hit us up at LuckysMTmiami at Gmail if you want to drop us a line, or at Lucky's Muay Thai on Instagram if you want to reach me directly. We had a great Jiu Jitsu tournament at the gym this weekend. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But if you want to try Jiu Jitsu, we have a great instructor, Robert Carrero, at CarreroBJJ on Instagram if you want to check out the Jiu Jitsu program. If you want to stop by, www.LuckysMT.com. We got everything you need to get in shape, learn something, and have a great time. Okay, first, before we get into UFC 290 and all that, let me tell you about my weekend. So I didn't have a fighter on a local show, 305 Fights. They do MMA and they do kickboxing, and they've had a pro show or two. So they asked me if I would commentate, which was, it was kind of a no-brainer. I haven't done it in a while, and the last couple of times I've done it, it was only for like one or two fights, something like that, just filling in or as a guest. But this time it was the whole card, top to bottom. I don't remember, 13 fights, something like that. I think I have the poster. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 fights on that card. And to be quite honest, I was super nervous in the beginning. I settled down in the middle. And then I kind of started getting a little bit tired towards the end. But some of those fights toward the end were pretty quick. So it didn't require a lot of energy to get through them. That was one thing that I did enjoy, is there were some pretty decent finishes. You know, for amateur MMA and kickboxing, there were some pretty decent finishes. Saw a nice body kick finish. Saw a beautiful takedown in Americana. Some decent jiu-jitsu. I wouldn't say great, but decent jiu-jitsu. Anyway, I commentated with Yaira, who used to fight. I saw her years ago. She's a fantastic fighter, has decided to kind of take a break and do some other stuff, which, listen, man, if you're a fighter and you're out there hustling in this fight world and you have other things in your life that are drawing you passionately away, don't hesitate to get out there and try those things, express yourself in different ways. It's not to say that you won't fight or be a fighter ever again, but sometimes your body needs a break, and sometimes you need to get into something else and maybe find a different kind of passion than just fighting. And it might actually help your fighting in the long run. Just an idea. Just, don't get stuck. You know what I mean? If you're not 100% fully into it, you don't want to get in there doing this heavy, hard training, and not have your mind fully focused on it. So anyway, I had a great time. Fantastic show overall. And I would definitely do it again. I don't know if I will, but I would definitely do it again if offered and the opportunity was right. So, came home, got a little bit of rest, woke up Sunday morning, drug my tired ass back to my gym because Roberto Carrero is doing a in-house jiu-jitsu tournament, and he asked me to ref. So, it was my first time reffing a jiu-jitsu tournament, and without, there's a reason why they have the scorekeeper, the timekeeper, this guy, that guy, because you're trying to throw these 4s and 2s and 3s and keep track of them, and making sure the other person, that's somebody else, is keeping track, and also trying to make sure nobody gets hurt. It's an in-house tournament. We're not trying to see a bunch of arms broken and that kind of. It's not ADCC, You're supposed to be out there trying to test your skills and, you know, do the best you can. Obviously, you want to win, but these mostly are people that you're going to train again with. And so it doesn't make sense to, you know, snap somebody's arm and then hopefully, you know, they'll want to train with you again. In a lot of cases, they won't. Anyway, that was a great time, but it was a long ass weekend. I did, in between those two things, I was able to catch UFC 290 because as I ended the fight commentating, they were just getting into the main card. So it was like perfect timing. So let's go over. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? I probably got everything wrong, but let's get to this. Bo Nickel versus Val Woodburn. Give him somebody better. And Val, you know, he took the fight on short notice. I think they gave him like a 4-fight deal or something. Good on him. I hope he's able to really take advantage of it because, like, this is the opportunities you need. You know, you need this. You need to be ready and waiting. So when they call you, you jump right in. And win or lose, you get the opportunity to potentially have a couple more fights in a gigantic organization. So good job on Val Woodburn for taking that chance. Even though it was such short notice, he really couldn't get going. Jalen Turner, Dan Hooker. I said Jalen Turner was going to win, but I spoke about what Dan Hooker we're going to get. Are we going to get the Dan Hooker that's just taking punishment, and then it's just over? Well, we almost got that Dan Hooker. Jalen Turner put a number on him, broke his arm with a kick, kicked him in the face. I mean, he was really kind of putting it on him. And Dan Hooker found his dog. He found his inner dog, which is the one thing I think everybody was like, yo, we know he's tough enough to take the shit, but is he tough enough to take the shit and then go after it and get it? And well, he was. So I hope this is the new Dan Hooker. I hope that he is, you know, going to take, obviously he has to take his time. His arm's broken. His orbital, I think, is broken as well. So and that's how bad it was. And he still came back and won by rear naked choke. So this is what people wanted to see. And I think now he's gotten over that hump and we're going to see a nasty Dan Hooker once he gets healed up and back in there. So looking forward to that. Whitaker versus Duplessis. I have no idea. I feel like Whitaker, when the fight finished, what I believe happened is Whitaker stepped in to do whatever offensive movement he was going to do, and he got caught with the nasty jab, and Duplessis just was able to continue like a pile driver and finish him. Duplessis is an awfully big dude and cuts awful lot of weight. I don't know, man. He's tough, man. He's a big, burly, tough dude. But he's going to have to be more than big, burly, and tough to beat Israel. And I'll explain that as we get in a little bit later. Brandon Moreno versus Pantoja, maybe one of the best fights one of the best fights all time ever. I thought it was going to go split Moreno, but it went split Pantoja, and Pantoja said some very emotional things about his father, his mother raising him, and talking to the camera, speaking to the camera, asking his father if he's proud of him now. Anybody that's grown up without a father that's in their lives regularly and part of their lives and help build them as a person can relate to this feeling of like finally accomplishing something, and then, you know, that pain is not the pain of I hate you. That pain is the pain of where were you? And I hope he feels or he gets some relief from that pain because it doesn't really go away so easy. But that was an amazing fight. Brandon Moreno, Pantoja, they were both, I think Brandon Moreno broke his hand as well in like the first or the second. You know, they just nonstop, stand up, ground, all around the cage, the octagon. I can't say enough for this fight. Would I want to see it again? A fourth fight between them? Yeah, I would. This is a more Pacquiao Marquez style matchup for me. This is something that I like. I obviously would like both of them to take a lot of time off and then come back and do it again. But yeah, fantastic fight. Congrats, Pantoja, winning the flyweight title. Last but not least, Volk versus Yair. This I definitely got right. Volkanovski, as I said, I think the having to up the training to fight a guy like Islam Makhachev, it just puts him over the top for most guys in that weight class below, because he had to become stronger. He had to become more intelligent within what he's doing. His ring IQ, his abilities had to become better. His confidence had to be better. As he said, there was things that he could have done to Islam, but he didn't really go for it. So this time he really was confident in his takedowns or whatever he was going for. The one thing that was pretty interesting is that I think a lot of people thought Yair was going to have the advantage because he switches stances. I mean, obviously he does a lot of sort of high-flying techniques, but he switches stances, and that gives him, a way to flow in and out of or orthodox and southpaw. But the reality is Volk switches stances too, and in fact, leading to the finish, he switched into a hook, right? In southpaw, a lead hook, as he checked Yair's kick, as Yair threw his kick, and he check hooked on that as he switched stances, which he had done throughout the fight. And, it just goes to show that skills over everything. Yair had the height, he had the length. Obviously, we know how strong Volk is. But look, Yair's no scrub. Obviously had the interim belt, has beat some of the best guys out there. But Volkanovski, at the end of that fight, had trapped the legs and was standing over him, raining it on him. Raining it. And there was nothing that Yair could do at that point. So, yeah, got that right. And what fight is next for Volk? I don't know, man. I'm Ilitapuria. I'm hearing their rematch with Makhachev. They're talking about who knows, man. He's got a little arm surgery. Let him get that done and he'll get back at it. Anyway, that's what I got it right. That's what I got wrong. And there was one crazy outcome. After the Duplessis-Whitaker fight, they brought Israel into the cage, and Israel went on his best Michael Blackson impression. And I'm not sure. Yeah. The funny thing about Israel is he is not like a Conor McGregor type of star that every time he speaks, he hits that mark. He's more of in between Conor and, what's his name? Mr. Cringe. So he's not exactly fully cringy, He's he can hit and he can miss. And this was a miss. I get it, but it just didn't do anything for me. Henry Cejudo. He's somewhere between Henry Cejudo and Conor McGregor because he hits and he misses. And he's cringy. But the reality of it is Duplessis is going to get a lot of this. And what does that mean for him? It means that Israel's already playing mind-affecting games. He's big and burly. You want the big and burly dude to lose his fucking mind and swing wildly. The one thing I did think about when Whitaker was being chased down by Duplessis was, damn, he could be easily walked into something because he's just charging forward and one step off and crack. And this dude is, you can't chase people like this. I get that Whitaker was hurt, but if at one moment he thinks that he hurts Israel and Israel can, play this game with him and have him chase, he's going to get cracked, man. How good is his IQ? Can he handle the mental bombardment that he's about to get? Plus, still be able to fight and have some sort of IQ that's equal relative to Israel Adesanya's fight IQ? it's a bigger issue than I think he realizes. I don't think he's a bad fighter. He's clearly like undefeated 7-0 or something like that. But I don't think he realizes to the extent of which his brain is going to have to come into effect, not his physical ability. That will come into effect. But he will have to be 100% with his brain going before this fight ever even gets started. Throughout training camp, through the press conferences, and all the way up into the final bell. Because if he cracks at all, Israel's going to eat him alive. And, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Drag his carcass across South Africa. Okay. I don't know if you've heard, but Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou is happening. This is supposed to happen October 28th in Saudi Arabia. And for all the Francis haters, what are you going to say about this? For all those people that don't care about fighter pay and don't care about fighters' rights and don't care about this and that, and they see this dude who was just there in the UFC at least saying, "Hey man, this is what I want for the rest of the fighters, myself and the rest of the fighters," and they said, "Nah, you get nothing, and we're stripping your belt instead of you leaving, right? And good luck out there in them streets, because without us, you're nothing." And Francis said, I made all this happen without anything to begin with. I'm not worried about you all. I'm trying to do other bigger things. It doesn't mean I have to do it with you. And damn it if he wasn't right. I don't know how much money they're going to make. It's almost irrelevant. It's relevant, but it's almost irrelevant because it also proves a freaking point. Stop being slaves to promotions that don't care about you when you have an opportunity to care about yourself and provide bigger and better things for yourself and your family and potentially others around you. You don't have to be a slave to this, man. You can just be really good, and then you can get what you want because you're really good. But what do I know? Anyway, I'm looking forward to that fight. As I said, I don't know how much you're getting paid. I don't really know much of the details. It just got announced, but can't wait. Anyway, oh yeah, and Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Man, if you haven't seen that All Access episode 1, holy crap. Go check it out. Anyway, I'm out. If you like the show, keep the like, hit the subscribe button, tell a friend, pass it along, leave a comment, please, if you have anything that you want me to talk about or anything you have to say about this episode. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, www.LuckysMT.com if you want to stop by the gym, or at LuckysMuay Thai on Instagram. I'm out. Peace. I got to go to work. You know what it is.
This world'll take a good man and they change him to a villain when the system's been set up by racists trying to kill him. I just wanna